Breaking for Rich Stadium was the same date as the topping out ceremony for this. And as you can see, that structural steel being raised to the top, and it is the last piece of structural steel. And I thought it was kind of cool when he also said that this isn't a topping out, it's the beginning of the rest of the construction.
Right. We have crews out there right now, including our Nate Benson. Nate, what's happening right there at the ceremony?
Well, right now, right behind me, they are raising the beam right now. I'm not sure if we've got our other camera able to be pulled up at this time, but the thousands of construction workers that are on scene right now they've all got their cell phones out. They've all gathered outside here to watch the final beam of the new Highmark Stadium get risen into the sky. As you can see right now, it's really quite a sight here for all of these construction workers that have been working here for well over 18 months to try and get this stadium complete. All the dignitaries just wrapped up, as you mentioned a short time ago. You know, a few things that stood out was what Roger Goodell said, that this is going to secure the franchise here in Buffalo for decades. Obviously, Terry Pegula pointed out that it was April 4th, 1972, when the groundbreaking of the old Highmark Stadium, shovels were in the ground for that, and now here we are so many years later putting up the final beam of the new Highmark Stadium, which again, as Goodell said, will secure the franchise here for decades. Another thing that stood out to me during the press conference was how Roger Goodell said we wouldn't be here without Kim Pegula. Now, Kim Pegula was not here in person, but Terry and the other members of his family was, and obviously she is here in spirit, as Terry said. And Roger Goodell, the NFL commissioner, also pointed out that this community has no fans like any other community, and they really stand out. And this will be a symbol for Buffalo all over the globe, and that it will make him proud. So certainly a big day here as that final beam gets risen into the sky with all the hardworking men and women who made this happen over the last 18 months or so when the groundbreaking began back in June of 2023. And here we are after a very, very long winter. I spoke to one construction worker earlier this morning, and he said it was absolutely brutal winter for them to get all this work done. So certainly, a beautiful day here in Orchard Park, topping off this beam, Pete and Melissa.
And as we see our drone shot, we got a great vantage point of them putting that last piece in place. And I thought it was kind of cool that Governor Kathy Hochul talking about her memories of Jack Kemp, because we are bridging the gap between all three Bills stadiums with that reference. Jack Kemp, of course, playing in the 60s in the old rock pile, and that team producing two great quarterbacks who were also great politicians.
Yes.
Former County Executive Ed Rutkowski and Jack Kemp, the longtime congressman.
And from the sky view to live shot, it is incredible to see these construction workers walking on the steel beams themselves as they're helping this final steel beam be put into place. I was wondering where it was going to go, so it's really neat to see that it's part of the roof, part of the canopy there, and it'll be, right now it's got the Bills flag, the American flag, the New York State flag on it, along with hundreds of signatures of some of the construction workers and dignitaries that are there. Again, 1,200 workers on site every day. That's going to go up to 1,500 as we progress, 1,500 per day. And again, that evergreen tree there, that is a symbolic gesture. It represents life, growth, and good luck. It's a symbolic crown of sorts to recognize the hard work of the construction crew. So that's why that is there, and it might stay there until some more work is complete.
Yeah, it was kind of funny was when they were talking, I think it was Roger Goodell talking about the different workers there, the plumbers, the electricians, and then all of a sudden you hear a loud voice say, and the iron workers.
Exactly.
That just shows you the pride.
And their passion.
And their passion, yeah, absolutely, because they're not only there in their profession, they're there representing Bills Mafia in the future.
And Terry Pegula, during his speech, he said, I just had this idea a couple days ago. I want to have some sort of reference or computer system where kids and grandkids and great-grandkids can come to the stadium and look up their mom or their dad or their grandparents who worked on this stadium and be able to say, my dad, my grandpa, my grandma was part of this and helped to build this stadium. and keep the Bills here in Buffalo. So that was a nice gesture, and Terry Pegula evoked a lot of applause when he said that. He also started with a great joke. He said, I should congratulate Josh because he makes more than I do now. Yeah. Coming from Terry Pegula, who now I think the Bills are estimated to be worth, or Terry Pegula's net worth is now estimated to be more than $7 billion.
Yeah, it's in, you know, we were watching as Mr. Pegula was talking. We've seen him in press conferences over the years, you know, the opening of Harbor Center, the unveiling when he took over the Sabres, this, that, and the other thing. That is the most just calm and personable and just in the moment press conference I've ever seen him give.
Yeah, he doesn't like giving press conferences,
no.
Or isn't really comfortable, to be frank. And so he really spoke to the crowd, spoke to Western New Yorkers, and spoke to Bills Mafia at this topping out ceremony. Again, this is not a ribbon cutting, but we've got Roger Goodell here representing the NFL to be here and congratulate all of the workers who are now putting that final steel beam in place. So it's great to see him. He talked about being a kid from Jamestown. He said it's a real thrill for a kid from Jamestown to be here. And he said, I know how much the Bills mean to this community, and this stadium is securing the franchise here for decades, for at least the next 30 years. You know,
it's almost a shame that they can't have that beam with all the signatures and everything exposed to the public after the stadium is complete.
Yeah.
Because, you know, years from now, you'll see the different people that signed it. We mentioned off the top that at the KeyBank Center, one of the signatures on that last final piece of structural steel was a 7-year-old named Patrick Kane.
Yeah.
And it'll be funny to see, you know, years from now, we'll hear about different people that signed that.
Yeah, and one of them is Norm Marshall. Our Nate Benson has been there all morning, and we spoke with Norm early on in our streaming newscast around 9 a.m., and he is one of the construction managers out there, and Nate grabbed him real quickly for an impromptu interview. And Norm was almost in tears. He works for Gilbane, and he was just talking about how this is so much more than a job, but it's something that he's really proud of, and he knows how important every hour of work that they put in, every minute of work, they need it to be perfect. And he also knows that he's leaving his legacy here. Yep. And his, his fingerprints are on this stadium, and his grandkids will be able to appreciate it. And so it was really a beautiful interview. We'll be able to post that on online so you can hear what he had to say. But to hear from the real men and women behind the construction of this Bill Stadium is great to hear today, because today's all about them.
Yeah, and how important was it to him? He came out of retirement to work on this stadium. And there are countless stories, and we're going to be gathering those stories throughout the day and have complete coverage throughout the day, both online and also on Channel 2 News throughout the evening. So
again, the ceremonial groundbreaking was June 5th, 2023. We're at April 4th right now, halfway through the construction process and progress, and they do expect to have this open on time in about a year and a half, June or July of 2026, so that the Bills can start playing in it that fall.
Yep, April 4th, 2025, the topping out ceremony. April 4th, 1972, the ribbon cutting or the start of construction at the original Rich Stadium across the street.
So congratulations to all of the men and women and the thousands of workers who are behind this new Bill Stadium. It's been a pleasure to bring you the topping out ceremony, and we now are going to go to Channel 2 News midday with Kelly Dudzik as our live team coverage continues.